Welcome back to Manthano, the place where we learn together. Before we dive in, do me a huge favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss an update. And of course, let me know your thoughts in the comments below.
In a small, quiet village, there lived an old woman named Ilara. She lived alone in a house surrounded by the most beautiful garden anyone had ever seen. But the villagers never stopped to admire the flowers. They whispered that she was a witch, a bitter old woman who had been cursed never to have children. So she was left alone, with only the memory of her late husband and a fortune she had no one to share with. One afternoon, while tending to her roses, Ilara's foot caught on a loose stone. She stumbled and fell, her frail body crying out in pain. Just then, two young men passing by saw her on the ground. Instead of helping, they pointed and laughed, their cruel voices echoing through the quiet street. Unable to get up, Ilara felt hot tears of shame and pain stream down her face. But someone else was watching. Leo, a 15-year-old boy who lived next door, saw the whole thing from his window. His mother had always warned him, "Stay away from that woman, son, she's bad luck." But seeing Ilara so helpless, Leo's heart wouldn't let him obey. He ignored the laughing men and rushed to her side. "Are you all right, ma'am?" he asked softly. With Leo's help, Ilara managed to get back on her feet and limp inside. She thanked him with a voice thick with emotion, her eyes full of a gratitude he had never seen before. When Leo returned home, his mother was furious. The two young men had already spread the story that he had helped the witch. But despite his mother's anger, something had changed in Leo. A silent routine began. After school, when other boys played, Leo would slip through the overgrown hedge to Ilara's garden. He would help her with weeding, carrying heavy pots, and listening to her stories. In her, he didn't see a witch. He saw a grandmother, kind and wise, but desperately lonely. 3 years passed. At 18, Leo burst into Ilara's garden, his face beaming with joy. "Grandma Ilara," he said, "I passed my exams. I'm going to university in the city." Ilara's smile was tinged with sadness. The one person who had shown her kindness was leaving. Tears welled in her eyes. "Oh, my boy," she whispered, "only the Lord can repay you for what you've done for me." She disappeared into her house and returned with a small, dusty wooden box. "Take this," she said, pressing it into his hands. "But promise me, only open it after you hear that I've gone to tend a new garden." Leo's heart ached. "Don't say that. You're more than a mother to me. I want you to live long enough for me to buy you a car and drive you anywhere you want to go." She simply smiled. "You have already done more than enough, my son." A year later, tragedy struck. Leo's mother collapsed from a sudden heart failure. The doctors in the city said she needed an emergency operation, a complex procedure that would cost more money than their entire village could raise. Desperate, Leo called his neighbors, but everyone offered only pity. Some even cruelly whispered that it was the witch's curse finally coming true. The doctors gave her 24 hours. The news reached Ilara. Without a word to anyone, she packed a small bag, traveled to the city, and went to the hospital's billing office. The next morning, the doctors, stunned by an anonymous donation that covered the entire cost, performed the life-saving surgery. 2 days later, Leo was called back to the village. He was overjoyed to see his mother awake and recovering, but confused. Who had paid the bill? It was only after the funeral that he found out. The village elder explained that Mrs. Ilara had passed away peacefully in her sleep the night after returning from the city. The hospital confirmed that an old woman matching her description had paid for the surgery in full, with one final request. "Tell her son he should never change. Tell him he is a good person and that I love him very much." The truth hit Leo like a tidal wave. The woman his mother had hated had sacrificed everything to save her. Days later, sitting alone, he remembered the old wooden box. With trembling hands, he opened it. Inside, it was not full of trinkets, but gold coins, property deeds, and bank documents, a fortune left behind by Ilara and her husband. Leo wept, thanking God for the witch who had been an angel in disguise.
He became a wealthy man, but he never forgot the source of his fortune. He used it to help his village, building a new school and a clinic. His mother, humbled and transformed by the grace she never deserved, became his biggest supporter, sharing their story with everyone. Leo taught them the lesson Ilara had taught him. You never know the struggles another person is facing.